So I decided to make this video because I hadn't seen any other Nier lore videos on this subject before. But I just now got to the top of the Lost Shrine. And as you can see, there's nothing up there. There's no elevator that goes up. There's no Shadow Lord castle in the clouds or behind it. You're just kind of in this valley. And so I'm wondering if the world that you play through in this game is essentially like some sort of a habitat. Now, of course, that doesn't make much sense according to Nier Automata, but there's really no other explanation unless you want to say the devs chose to not model the Shadow Lord's castle because of spoilers or something. I refuse to believe that. It seems more plausible to me that this is like some sort of a habitat where they were keeping the replicants to make them feel like their life was genuine, similar to a Truman Show type scenario, where Truman was living his life. His life was his life, but he was in a habitat. And that's the most logical explanation I can think of, just according to Nier. Now, if Nier Automata had come first, and then they made this game as a prequel, which this game is not a prequel, it's the original game, and they made a sequel, it's possible they retconned something, I don't know. But if we're just going by this game, it seems like this world is some sort of a fabrication or a habitat, and the replicants are just sort of living there, and Popola and Devila and whoever else are like the caretakers. Now, I'll go through here again and show that we go up an elevator, and then we are in Tokyo again. We're right now we're still in Tokyo. We are in the very same place where the game started. The only difference is this is some sort of a habitat. And I don't know if it's magic. I mean, there's magic in the world, so you could use that explanation as for how it's even being sustained. I don't know. But it's very suspect, because as you can see, I just showed you the very top of the Lost Shrine. Now we're going to go in.
Such an ominous sight, and yet I find it strangely nostalgic. And now the path is
an elevator. Elevators go up. Clearly there was no elevator in the sky. This is like Dark Souls 2 architecture. Either that or it was intentional. And I'm willing to believe that it's intentional. And there you go. None of this was visible. You can see the skyscrapers. You're in Tokyo right now at this very moment. Your character is still in Tokyo. In the very beginning of the game. And what's behind us? Well, that is not the Shadow Lord's, I'm sorry, that's not the Lost Shrine. That is absolutely not the Lost Shrine. So we went up an elevator into a skyscraper. Unfortunately, you can't jump over there, but as you can see, that's still Tokyo. That's not the ruined valley area. We're completely surrounded by buildings. There is no Rocky Mountain art assets. We are in Tokyo. The entire game takes place in Tokyo, somehow in some sort of a habitat. When you're fighting Popola and Devila in that office, in the skyscraper, you can even see that. When Emil is being carried off by the magic, you're in Tokyo. And I'm just really surprised that no one has talked about this. Like this, to me, when I first played Nier, this was like one of the biggest mind-blowing things to me. When I came up here, I was like, whoa, where am I? Like the entire game was some sort of habitat. It's not technically real. Not in the sense that you're in the real world. Now this also kind of conflicts with the mermaid storyline because it talks about the ship and there was a log and it was used for slaves or something, and that's kind of odd. Because from what I understood when I played the original Nier, it kind of felt like beyond that ocean there was nothing out there. It was like a backdrop, like the Truman Show. There could have been nothing out there in that ocean. But I don't know, it's hard to say now with the mermaid thing. It feels like they kind of, I don't know, retconned it or something? I don't know. And then in Nier Automata, there's certain areas in the game where the architecture is clearly based off of this place. And I don't know if that's just, I don't know at that point if they retconned something, or if it's sloppy writing, or if it's just fan service, or a combination of all three. I have no idea. But clearly, if we're just going by the lore of Nier 1, the first Nier, ignoring the content of the mermaid, ignoring Automata, I would be willing to say that the world in this game is like a Truman Show fabrication, and you escape it by entering this area. You're leaving the fabricated world built for the replicants. And the Shadow Lord's castle is in Japan. This is where you were in the beginning of the game.